Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker Enhanced Edition with me, BringItDon. So let's talk to Ursi Khaleesi. In elfin leather armor scans the crowd intently. He seems to be the only one at this celebration not participating. He's also the only one besides the guards whose weapon isn't sealed. Your Highness, welcome to Patax. Ursi Khaleesi, captain of the city guard at your service. You don't seem to be enjoying the celebration. The celebration is for you. For the city guard, it's just another work day. But right now, our work is preventing disruption of the festivities. I thought Patax was a city without laws. Where do the guards come from? Even pirates and smugglers have laws of a kind, and they need someone to keep their order. The city guard was created by the trading houses not long after the city was founded. We're paid by the citizens. Not all of them like us, but they all understand things are better with us than without us. Everybody seems to have a tight grip on his power over this city. Oh yes, the trading houses hate him, of course, but, well, first and foremost, he has hostages. Second, each of the families is afraid to act alone, but they're all incapable of acting together. Gasparilla Kenza tried to unite them, but to no avail. And it's probably for the best, frankly. The last thing we need is combat in the streets. Irvedi can be blamed for many things, but at least he took power quickly, and without carnage. Now Irvedi's enemies have nothing to do but sit around like High Priest Dre Yarns, praying for Calistria to send her giant holy wasps down to take him away. And who might you recommend I meet here? That depends on the purpose of your visit. If you're here on business, well, you already know King Irvedi, of course. But it'd be worth your time to speak with Gasparilla Kenza, too. The trading houses may have lost much of their former power, but they're still capable of many things. And if you like to partake of our renowned culture, there's Anomie Bellavara, the most famous bard in the city, and Natalia Guitarin as well, Headmaster at the Academy. Just take care. They can't stand one another. Alright, farewell. Be careful. Alright.
In due time.
Stefano Mosconi. Since your last encounter, Stefano Mosconi has put on a little weight, and his appearance has become even more festive. As you approach, a polite smile blooms on his face. Why, if it isn't King Don Victus, please, allow me to congratulate you on your success. So we meet again, and not on the battlefield. Assuming this tournament isn't a trap, of course. Of course it's not. It may be hard to believe, but King Irvedi's intentions are quite honest this time. Trust me. He'll make a move sooner or later, but for now, he's invited you for the chance to see a new rival with his own eyes. I'll let you in on a little secret. He actually thinks very highly of you. This isn't the first year the tournament's been held. Why was I just invited this year? I mean no offense when I say this, but both you and your state were frankly inconsequential. Not significant enough for our attention. But your victory at Brevois border and your subsequent coronation changed all that. In truth, King Irvedi only invites those he's identified as worthy rivals to the tournament. So Irvedi considers me a rival. I didn't think I'd given him any cause for a feud. The unfortunate reality is that your very existence, along with the strength of your kingdom has acquired, is cause enough. What would happen were you to join with Mavone against Patax? Or perhaps you might seek to extend your lands west and not stop at the border. What if merchants from Brevois began traveling through your lands, bypassing Patax entirely? And of course, the most important question. Mosconi's grin turns predatory. Do you sit securely on your throne, or does Patax stand a chance of expanding east? Now that's real talk we have here. Come on, Honorable Stefano. Sing us another of your sweet political songs. Well, at least you're honest with me. I appreciate the warning. Think nothing of it. I have great interest in seeing how events will unfold. Farewell. Until we meet again, and I'm sure we will.
I'm there.
So, he's an interesting character. Definitely one of the more intriguing ones in the game. We've talked to them. We haven't talked to Anomie or Italia yet. So let's talk to Anomie. Oh, Don Victus, the famed Baron. No, excuse me. The King of Conqueror's Keep now has come to visit us. It is such a delight to see you here. Hello, Lady Provocateur. Aren't you afraid you'll burn out at work one day? Maestro Bellavara. Well, do you remember me? Lindsay blurts out, turning bright red. Ah, Lindsay. Of course I remember you. You and your nonsense at the poetics exam. I hear you have your own publishing house now. I didn't take you for the entrepreneurial sort, but I'm happy you finally found your calling. Tell me, Are the songs you compose for Iravetti as bold as the ones you sang at my capital? Have my humble verses so offended you that you still recall their sting? Please, your highness, it doesn't behoove a person of your standing to take umbrage against a petty bard. Don't you know the old proverb? The tunes are chosen by the one who pays the piper. Tell me about yourself. You could have easily asked any of my admirers who Anomie Balavara is. That'd be about 3/4 of attacks, and the rest are all my haters. Haha. You don't get to be the best among a city of poets and musicians without gathering a few enemies along the way. Why should I concern myself with hacks and soreheads? And what can you tell me about King Iravetti? Anomede's face darkens for a moment, but she quickly regains her sweet smile. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's a great man. Patax was a boring place before him. Only pirates, fences, and other scum did any business in the area. But then King Iravetti came and turned it into the cultural capital of the region. With him in charge, the arts have flourished, and the city's been filled with songs, paintings, and statues. I just pray that Calistria breathes the same love of the arts into the withered hearts of some of the other rulers in the region, who'd prefer to squander their resources on saber rattling. Some may say that King Iravetti doesn't have a taste for arts. Any successful person gets haters spreading dirty rumors about them. You should hear the things they say about me. Haha. Pay it no mind. Our king is a man of exquisite taste, with appreciation for all kinds of art. He's also an unsurpassed singer, a skilled hunter, an excellent horseman, and able to bake fancy breads while juggling daggers. If you begin on the path of singing the praises of your superiors, dear, at least use your imagination. Does the king have any enemies? Of course he has enemies. Lots of them. Just like anyone who's actually accomplished anything in life. Take some of the old trade houses, for example. Lee Kenza and some others whom he stripped of their power. They'd love to see him at the bottom of the river, but even now, in the mutual sorry states, they can't manage to work together. There's also Ursi Khaleesi, captain of the guard. He was just seething with indignation when the king brought new rules to the city. But who wants to listen to the whining of failures like them? Iravetti brought a golden age on Patax. I've heard King Iravetti can be too persistent in his flirtations. Anomie purses her lips for a moment, then replies slowly, choosing her words carefully. I prefer not to discuss the private life of His Highness with strangers, much less my own. The details of any interactions between us will remain just that, between us. Let's please discuss another topic. Tell me about the Rushlight Tournament. Our beloved king has run this tournament once in several years since he took the throne. Guests from all over the River Kingdoms come for it, from Daggermark to Mivon. It's a pity Brevoy didn't honor us with any representatives this year. I guess the Aldori aren't in a very festive mood right now. On the bright side, we get to host you for the first time. And Calistria willing, it won't be the last. Who might you recommend I meet here? That depends on what you're looking for. If you're in the mood for pleasant company, well, you've already met me. And if you're in the mood for some schadenfreude, you could listen to the whining of Gasperlia Kenza. I used to know what this meant. It is like two meanings. It's a German word that means something tragedy, right? Tragic something? I don't remember. Anyway. His family lost the Pataxian crown in a card game. Or maybe Atalia Gitarin, the headmaster of the academy, seems to think her skill at bureaucracy makes her a good bard. And if thrills are what you're after, especially the shivers down your spine kind, try speaking with Karn Viril, head of the Thieves Guild. Farewell. Enjoy the celebration. Alright. Schadenfreude. Yeah, I used to know what that meant. Anyway, Atalia Gitarin. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my coffee. A lot of dialogue. Greetings, Your Highness. I'm Atalia Gitarin, Headmaster of the Academy of Grand Arts. Welcome to the tournament. Is this your first time here? I'll be honest, I'm delighted to hear what you've done with Conqueror's Keep. Not so long ago, it was little more than a hole in the ground, and you've brought it real civilization. Bravo. Lindsay has some interesting news for you. Yes, Professor Aobold found refuge in our capital. And you know what? He's writing his memories of his time at the Academy. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining read for everyone in Patax. No, all of Avestan. A book, you say? How brave of him. Hope he doesn't neglect to include the details of his dismissal. Atalia's voice is ice cold and bone dry. What details? What do you mean? Irvedi kicked Professor Airbold out for just being too smart, didn't he? I'm sure that's exactly how he described it. They call him the insightful for a reason, after all. Anyway, forgive me, but I have no interest in discussing this topic further. If you'd like to exchange idle gossip, I'm sure you can find much more willing and interesting company here. I suspect you know who I'm referring. How fares the Academy? Oh, just splendid. If you ever find time to visit Patox, I'd gladly give you a tour. We're currently holding an exhibition of our graduates' works. Though it's a pity that... No, it's fine. Believe me, we have plenty worth coming to see and hear. I get the impression that something's upsetting you. Oh no, please don't worry. I'm just disappointed that one of our best students, Trebrescent of Cordelon, couldn't be here today. He could be singing in any capital, but the king chose to send him to some backcountry village called Littletown. Of course, His Highness would never squander talent, so I'm sure we'll hear from Trebrescent again. But still, I do worry. I hear you're not exactly thrilled by Irvedi's power. Forgive me, Your Highness, but this is defamation. My students and I owe everything we have to King Irvedi. If not for him, the Academy of Grand Arts wouldn't even exist. It would be base ingratitude on my part to engage in any conspiracy against our patron. You must have me confused with Anomie Bellavara. She's certainly always ready to bite the hand that feeds, or caresses. And who might you recommend I meet here? There are many respectable attendees today. You already know King Irvedi, of course. You should be sure to speak with High Priest Dre Yarns as well. He's truly a wise and honorable man. If I may give you one piece of advice, beware of Karin Viril. He may be business partners with King Irvedi himself, but those who deal with him usually find themselves in a bad way. Since he showed up in the city, our dear Captain of the Guard, Ursi Khaleesi, has so much more work that he... Atalia stops short, covering her mouth. Forgive me, I've probably said too much. Trifling hints, veiled accusations. I smell old rivalry and resentment here. You should take note of that, Don Victus. There may be an advantage in the feud of two mellifluous predators. Okay. What did you mean when you mentioned the circumstances surrounding Eobold the Insightful's dismissal? Forgive me, Your Highness, but I prefer not to discuss the subject. If you're truly so interested, I'm sure there are more than a few slanderers who would gladly share all the dirty details with you. Alright, let's go talk to... Anomie, for Lindsay's sake. Let's see, I believe Lindsay has a question for you. Or had a question. Oh? I just hope it isn't about any of the lectures I used to give you at the Academy. Go ahead, ask away. Anomie smiles encouragingly at Lindsay. Lindsay turns bright red, takes a deep breath, and blurts out, "Sorry, but I really need to know the truth. Why did Irvedi kick Professor Eobold out of the Academy?" "Oh yes, he did move to your kingdom, didn't he? I'm curious how he portrayed his dismissal. I bet it was something like a poem in 6 verses, recounting the tale of a tyrant ousting a poor but honest scientist for telling the truth. The reality is much more mundane. Irvedi didn't fire Eobold. Atalia did. And I have to give it to her. This time, unlike most times, she was completely right." What am I hearing? A respected scholar, an author of so many books, articles, and memorandums, lied. Unbelievable. That can't be. Why did Atalia expel Eobold? Well, Eobold is a very fine teacher, of course, but he pays too much attention to how his favorite students perform in class, and not enough to their extracurricular activities. Why worry if they steal a trinket here or there, or maybe rough someone up on occasion, as long as their poetry and music are exemplary? Predictably, this led to a sad end. What was supposed to be just another innocent joke from one of his favorites, Alandi, led to someone's death. It was an accident, certainly. The kids just underestimated their own strength. Atalia expelled a lot of them, and as always, Eobold went to stand up for them, but this time, he discovered that her patience was not boundless. She blamed him, and said that he'd let his troublemakers run wild, so he could get out of the academy along with them. She told him she won't tolerate any more bullying, even if it's coming from genius students. I understand it's odd to hear "won't tolerate" from Atalia Gitarin, but that's what really happened. Pale, Lindsay looks at Anomie with huge eyes, unable to utter a word. If Irvedi didn't banish Eobold, then why did he send those cutthroats after him? He'd planned to return the old man to Patox and make Atalia reinstate him into the academy. Or failing that, he at least wanted to keep him from going to you. Abel the Insightful was a prominent name. Of course, Irvedi would want the teacher serving him, rather than his neighbors. In the hands of a ruler, even death is a political currency, or is political currency. Though none wish to recall that, sooner or later, fate will use it to pay them as well. Why would Italia hide the circumstances around Eobold's dismissal? She doesn't like to discuss the Academy's internal affairs. Behind that neat facade, there are too many events she's looked the other way on over the years. All in good faith, of course. Just as behind any nice facade, that's what they're built for, after all. Well, thank you for telling us the truth. I'm not sure you should be thanking me. I see poor Lindsay's not too happy with this truth. Hey, come on, girl. Cheer up. Being disappointed by people is practically a professional necessity for people like us. Whatever I may have said before, you're not a bad bard, and that means sometimes you have to face the music. Lindsay gulps and whispers, "Thank you. Enjoy the celebration." I can't believe it. Teacher lied to me all this time. I'm going to learn the truth as soon as we get back to the capital.
I do what I must.
Okay, man, a lot of dialogue. And we're not nearly finished. Let's go talk to Ursi Khaleesi. Let's quick save before I confront him with this. Actually, let's
What troubles you?
Alright, then quick save again, and then we'll talk to... Alright, I hear you're not pleased with the way Irvedi rules. The elf looks around carefully. Not so loud. Irvedi has ears everywhere. But if your highness must know, so be it. My fellows and I serve the city. Not the crown, not the trading houses, not whoever has the biggest purse. The city. This dump we call Patax, and all the poor fools who swarm around it. Former kings understood this. They're the ones who arranged it in the first place. When Irvedi took charge, he thought the city guard would be his personal cutthroats. Once he realized that wasn't the case, he started doing everything in his power to make our jobs harder. Now he has this personal guard he formed, who are above the law and following the orders of a barbarian. Then there's Karn Varil, with his so-called Thieves Guild. Scumbags flooded the entire city with Numerian drug. Bloodbrush extract. The poison that turns people into mindless sheep. Our former kings understood that even Patax needs some bare minimum of order to avoid falling to pieces and floating down the river. But Irvedi seems on track to burn the city to the ground. Alright. I think that's all we can talk about. We'll go through and check on all the NPCs one more time. I don't think we have any more updated stuff. Where is he at? Trade yarns. Yeah, okay, I think that's everything. Let's go see if we can talk to what's your face about Eobold one more time. Yeah, Enemy Baldur told us why you expelled Eobold from the academy. I have no interest in what that individual told you. Please, let's discuss something else.
I'm there.
Okay, let us go talk to the guy so we can progress the quest. Nunzio Arpaia. Your Royal Your Royal Highness, welcome to the Rushlight Tournament. My name is Nunzio Arpaia, and I have the honor of being His Highness King Irvedi's Master of Ceremonies. You could say the organization of this tournament rests on my shoulders. If you need anything, I'm at your disposal. Tell me about the Rushlight Tournament. Since starting his reign over Patax, His Highness King Irvedi has held this tournament once in several years, inviting guests from the high society of nearby kingdoms to attend. Today we have guests from Daggermark, Mivon, Gralton, and Timon. Unfortunately, Bavoy did not honor us with their representatives this year. It's entirely possible that recent events and the stressful political climate have put them in a less than festive mood. We're pleased to have your highness in attendance for the first, and I hope not the last, time this year. And what events are on the schedule? The tournament consists of 3 contests. First, the participants will display their strength and dexterity in the Fisher's Triathlon, a tribute to local crafts and trades, so to speak. Then we'll be measuring competitors' wits in the Boasting contest. It's the reason we're the cultural capital of the region, after all. And finally, the evening will wrap up with some mock combat in the Drunken melee. Then His Majesty will announce the winner of the tournament, and we'll all enjoy a festive banquet followed by a splendid fireworks show. What about flighting? I'm good at that. Flighting was likely cancelled due to my arrival, I suspect. More's the pity. I lost a chance to earn myself a second death sentence. Oh, that's right, yeah, flighting... Wait, was it... I think it was cancelled because of him. I think I remember there being another event. I have to go back and watch my previous Rushlight Tournament. I'm ready to participate in the Fisher's Triathlon. Let's begin. So sadly, I don't have... Yeah. So last time I had a lot of athletics, I had Reg and Ekondio with me. So my athletics was pretty high up there. Trumpets sounded over the arena, announcing the commencement of the Fisher's Triathlon. We're to distinguish ourselves in 3 sports, if you could call them such. You be the judge, dear reader. The first round was fish carrying, if you can believe it. They built narrow bridges over pits of mud and placed barrels on either end, one side filled with fish and the other side empty. The goal was to get all the fish from one side to the other, bare-handed, without falling into the mud. I'm sure this is just what you imagine for a royal tournament. Throwing fish at your opponents was prohibited. There is one unofficial but well-understood rule in this tournament. Don't get caught. We had to decide which of us would participate, as well as how fair we wanted to play. Yeah, we tried to cheat by discreetly throwing fish at our opponents. Competing honestly among such company would be more embarrassing than losing. As Canara ran across the bridges with heaps of fish in her arms, she deftly tossed the fish beneath the feet of the Gralton competitor, who slipped and fell into the mud. Another fish found its way right to the Daggermark competitor's forehead, sending him down alongside the Graltoner. The judges didn't notice a thing. We won the first round. The second round was untying knots. Competitors would be tied up on poles resembling shipmasts, and they had to escape the ropes. We once again had a choice to make. We noticed a sharpened coin glistening in the Daggermark competitor's mouth, and the Gralton participant had a blade in hand. We exposed the cheaters, leaving us with fewer rivals. Or we'll just stealth again. We tried to cheat by sneaking a blade into the contest. Because you get more points for that. Let's see. It's well known that if you can't untie a knot, you just cut it. Canara stealthily pulled a blade from her sleeve. While her competition struggled to escape their bonds, she jumped to the ground and triumphantly walked over to the judges. Not an honest victory, but a victory nonetheless. We'd won 2 out of 3 rounds. We seemed to have our victory in the bag, but with the rivals we were dealing with, there was no time to relax. The last round of the tournament was diving for river pearls. Huge tubs were filled with mussels and river water, and some empty jars had been placed on sets of scales. We'd have to open the mussels with our bare hands, gather the pearls, and deposit them in our team's jar. Of course, if playing fair wasn't a priority, we could try weighing down the jar with other things as well. I guess I could try this. I don't know. Gosh darn it. The opaque jars on the scales were begged to hold more than pearls. Our plan was to put stones and mud into our rivals' jars and demand the judges check the contents at the end. Unfortunately, our cunning plan didn't work. As soon as Lindsay tried slipping a stone into another team's jar, she was caught red-handed and escorted from the arena, the crowd laughing and whistling all the while. Well, we tried. I didn't save before that, did I? I did not. That's fine. I should save before this, though. Alright, the boasting contest. Everyone's ready? Let's begin. The tournament continued with the boasting contest. The first participant, a man from Daggermark, stepped up to the podium and told a raunchy story about him sneaking into a temple of Calistria and seducing all the priestesses, including the High Priestess, in a single night. The crowd was particularly amused by the suggestive glances he kept casting toward one of the guests from Timon. She simply smiled mysteriously in response. The second participant was a guest from Gralton, who told a completely implausible tale about his travels across other planes, where he battled undead hordes and defeated a blood-curdling monster. He was an average storyteller at best. He'd be lucky to get a C for that story at the Academy. But the listeners were inexplicably elated. Suspicious, we took a closer look at the crowd and, of course, we brought in a bard using some tricks of the trade, and likely a little magic, to aid the Gralton man's performance. I'm not gonna stab him. Yeah, we pointed out the cheating to the judges. The judges were reluctant to believe us, but the cheating was easy to spot once you knew to look for it. Once they concluded we were right, the guest from Gralton was disqualified and forced to leave the podium in disgrace. Then it was Patox's turn. The kingdom's honor was represented by Anomie Bellavara, a sweet-voiced singer whose smile could win over the most withered of hearts. Oh, Anomie, while her voice was smoother than silk, her words stung like arrows. With a soft smile, Anomie told everyone how she'd spent months in our kingdom, learning our secrets and instigating a riot. Of course, the honest trade of the bard and the shady dealings of the spy often go hand in hand. But, oh Anomie, who could have expected such an ugly blow from such a lovely lady? She described, in surprising and exceptionally critical detail, how much the citizens of our young state suffered under the atrocities of the troll assaults and the magic plague. She never stooped to actual lies, but she made it sound as though our king, the Baron at the time, was simply drinking and debauching while his subjects struggled. She made our crusade against Mordecai look like a cunning conquest of Varnhold, and the war with the Tiger Lords was characterized as an irresponsible venture. Talk about cruel and unfair. When Anomie finished and left the stage, it was our turn to perform. What feats did our participant decide to tell in their performance? He regaled them with tales of our victories over the Stag Lord, the Trolls, Mordecai, and Armag. It wasn't easy getting the crowd excited for this story. They were all glorious feats, of course, but that was the problem. The audience had already heard them time and time again. Don Victus used all the eloquence he could bring to bear to breathe new life into these old stories. The audience hung on his every word, sometimes laughing uncontrollably, sometimes holding their breath to avoid missing anything. Don Victus finally brought the story to an end, and the viewers gave him a standing ovation as he left the podium. The woman from Timon, a priestess of Calistria, went last. She tells stories of her love affairs in faraway countries and on other planes, casually mentioning an unpleasant disease she contracted over her journeys that took her a long time to get rid of. Hearing that, a participant from Daggermark paled and grabbed at his belt, bringing roaring laughter from the rest of the audience. And finally, the judges announced the winner, Don Victus. He walked up to the podium to thunderous applause and took another bow. Alright, and that is 2 down. Kinda sad I failed that 50. It doesn't matter. Alright, ready to participate in the Drunken Melee. Let's begin. It'll be splendid.
Their life ends here. This will hurt. You should have run.
Haha, didn't even get touched. Way too good of a fighter. Alright, the tournament is finished, isn't it? I'd like to know who won. Yes, His Highness is just about to make a speech announcing the winner. Look, everyone's gathering around now.
Lords and ladies, another Rushlight Tournament has come to an end. I'd like to thank all of you who honored this event with your presence. My friends, I'm happy to see all of you, but I'd like to give a special welcome to one guest who found themselves invited here for the first time. Today, we had the Baron, no, excuse me, it's King now, isn't it? Of a majority of what was once the Stolen Lands. Thank you for coming, my darling. I can call you that, right? I thank you with all my heart. I first learned of him from my friend Stefano Mosconi. To be honest, his report was less than flattering. Impassable swamps, monsters galloping about, and a complete absence of any valuable resources. Nothing more than a dirty hole ruled by another bandit lord, hardly worthy of your attention. That's what he wrote back then. I'm so happy he was wrong. Truth be told, even now traveling that domain is a less than pleasurable experience. Some roads have appeared, but their safety leaves much to be desired. Take the sad story of a poor Toman Henvaki from Gralton. He set off to those lands and hasn't been seen since. His brother Edrist went to find the poor fellow, and what happened? The Baron found the body in the blink of an eye, almost as though it was stored in his cellar. And the hunt the Baron put on, clearly imitating my tournament, it was beyond description. While guests were out hunting hydras and owl bears, the latter came from behind and ate at the banquet table, along with all the servants. Some celebration, right?
Alright, Irvedi, my friend. It's uncomfortable how much attention you lavish upon me. How about your kingdom? How many bodies are found in Patax's harbors each year?
Enough, really.
Oh, really? I didn't
Are you
succeed?
looking to ruin everyone's appetite?
Hold on. When is my last low save?
It's right before the banquet. All I really wanted to get at was that His Highness is a personage truly as extraordinary as his lands, and I'm happy to see him at this celebration. And now it's time to announce the winner of the tournament. This year, no one managed to win all 3 contests. Since the victories all belong to our neighbors here and Pitax, as the chief judge, I'll be rewarding the prize to Pitax for their grace and skill.
So last time I actually managed to win all the competitions and win the prize, and he makes fun of you. He'll insult you for winning all the competitions. It's like, oh, you're more worried about games and stuff than ruling state or something like that. Awarding yourself the prize, such a regal thing to do. I applaud you.
A joke! I was joking. You won 2 contests of the 3. The prize is rightfully yours. Let's hear it for the winner. Your Highness, if you please. I know you're not exactly a master of ceremonies, but please try to say something articulate to my guests.
Your Highness, dear guests, attending this tournament was a great honor and a true pleasure. I thank you all for an unforgettable day. Despite everybody's efforts to smear you in the eyes of the guests, the audience is elated. Your speech garners a hearty round of applause.
And now, with the competition over and the prize awarded, let's get on with the main part of the celebration. The banquet! I can hear your stomachs growling from here. Let's get to the table, and later we'll see an unforgettable fireworks show.
Alright, I think that's it. Yep. Alright, I'm going to call it here, and in the next episode, we'll probably do some exploring. We have to deal with this. There's some areas in Patax to explore as well. We'll see. Off camera, I think I'm going to go back and succeed at some of those skill checks. Not a lot's going to change, I'll just have more experience come the next episode. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.